Okay, so once you feel like you've completed your mix, you're probably ready to share your GarageBand project with the world, or your friends and family, or maybe you just want to make a copy for yourself that you don't need to open GarageBand to play every time you want to listen to it. So you need to export a version of the song that can be played outside of GarageBand because right now, your song only exists in the project file, which can only be opened by GarageBand. So you'll find all of your sharing options, not surprisingly, under the Share menu. Let's walk through them. The first option is Song to iTunes. Choose this option to export your song to your iTunes library. Now, before we do this, let's first make sure we have our end of song marker where it belongs. I can see that it's not there. I must have moved it back accidentally, so let's grab that, put that at the end of the song. Remember, if it's way out beyond the actual end of your song, you may end up with several seconds of silence at the end of the file. Now, GarageBand is supposed to automatically cut out long stretches of silence at the end, but I feel it's better just to move the marker so you can be sure you won't have an issue. All right, so let's choose Share, Song to iTunes. That opens this window here where you can add the data for the song that will show up in your iTunes library, your iPod, or any other device that can play this file. By default, GarageBand names the song with the name of the file followed by the date and the time, which I think is kind of nice, especially when you're exporting rough mixes and you want to keep track of multiple versions of the same song you're exporting. But if this is the final version of your song, just name it any way you want, and then you can fill in any other information you want. You can even choose to add it to an iTunes playlist if I wanted to. Now, from the Quality menu, choose the quality you want the file to be in. The first 4 options here all export the song in the compressed AAC format for iTunes. The higher the quality, the larger the file size will be. You can also choose an uncompressed AIF file, but that will also increase the file size significantly. So just decide how you want to balance the quality and file size of your recording. Once you've done all this, just click Share. You'll see it says bouncing, and bouncing is simply a term that means mixing down. It's mixing down your entire song and saving it as a file, and then it will compress it as an AAC file because I chose that format. You can see it's converting to the file now. Takes me into iTunes, and starts playing the song right away. Let's see where that song is. There it is. And once the song is in iTunes, you can listen to it from here, throw it on your iPod, or do anything else you can do with songs in your iTunes library. Let's go back to GarageBand. The next option under the Share menu is Ringtone to iTunes. This option is only for when you're specifically creating a ringtone for your phone. Ringtones have to be 40 seconds or less, and they'll be exported in the .mr4 format, which is used for iPhone ringtones. Notice if I choose this option, I get this message telling me that I need to adjust the length of the song. So I'm just going to cancel that. And if you ever do want to make a ringtone, remember there's a template for that in the Project menu when you choose File New. Next under Sharing is the Media Browser. Choosing this option immediately starts a bounce down of your song, meaning that single audio file version of the song is being generated just like when you export to iTunes, but this version of the song will appear in the media browsers of other Apple apps like iMovie or Final Cut Pro. Once there, you'll be able to use your song in any projects you create in those apps. Next is the SoundCloud sharing option. SoundCloud is a free online service for sharing audio files. You can just go to soundcloud.com to create an account, and then you'll be able to log into your account from GarageBand when you choose this option and upload your project directly from here to share it with others. This is probably the most convenient option for quickly sharing your project with other people, as opposed to, say, burning a CD or trying to email a large audio file to someone. With a SoundCloud account, you can upload your file from right here in GarageBand and then send your friends a link so they can listen to your song online. I'm just going to close this for now. Next, we have Export Song to Disk. This is like exporting to iTunes, except you're just saving the file somewhere else on your computer. This is a convenient option to use when you want to export your song but don't want to add it to your iTunes library or to the media browser. Just choose where you want to save the file, you can name it, and you get the same quality options here as well, although you can choose between a 16-bit or 24-bit AIF file. But unlike when you export to iTunes, you aren't offered the ability to add metadata like the artist, album, and composer information. So basically here, just title your file, pick a place to save it, choose a quality level, and then click Export to generate the file. And the final option under the Share menu is Burn Song to CD. This option is only available if you have a recordable CD already inserted into your Mac's optical drive. If you do, you'll be able to choose this option to burn a CD containing your song that can then be played in a standard CD player. I think fewer and fewer people are using this ability these days, though, in favor of sharing songs over the internet instead. But it's good to know that option is still there if you want it. So that's a rundown of the options that are available to you for sharing your project from GarageBand.